guys? Welcome back to Planet CHH, and today we are talking about the ViaVision release for Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, my all-time favorite Halloween film. And no, I mean, look, now it doesn't get me in trouble. It did for a while, and I never wanted to be different. Like, I don't intend to try to be different, right? I just love Halloween 3. It's just such an amazing film. So let's talk about this release, guys. This release does have something new, which did excite me, but, you know, I will be dead honest. I was going to get this regardless. This was not something that I said, oh, this makes me want to get this. I love collecting releases for Halloween 3. It's just it's very fun. So if you saw the review I just did for this one, I urge you to go back and check this out. Halloween 2 had a ViaVision release, it just came out as well, and I covered this, talked about the upscaled version of the television cut, etc., etc. And last year, I actually covered the ViaVision release for Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 and 2. So I've got videos for those, guys, if you want to check those out. But today, is the main event. Got to reposition myself. And that is, in fact, Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. So, yeah, ViaVision is a company, I think, don't quote me, I think they're all from Australia. And right away, I always like to say that these releases, as far as I know so far, are all region-free. Of course, I have a standard 4K player, a Sony 4K player. I put this in here and watched it the same as with this. This was completely region-free. And, of course, with Halloween 2, I tested this, and this, of course, is region-free as well. So if you're wanting to get these and say to yourself, well, if I do get them, because I am a big Halloween fan, they better at least play in my player. Otherwise, they're just bricks that I'm going to sit on the shelf, which isn't, you know, some people do that too, and that's fine. So, Halloween 3 Season of the Witch's release. Here is the case, and you've got this kind of holographic shine to it. Kind of like with Halloween 2. They don't really change images, they just kind of move a little bit, which is still cool. Not hating. I like them. I think they're really cool, and they're nice thick box releases. One thing I'll notice about the font for Halloween 3, this is slightly different from the American version. I think I have a poster up on the wall. It's just, the American version has a little bit of a background behind the words that makes it have a little bit of depth. This is a flat white. Same with the side. If you're a really big fan, you notice those differences, and you know the differences of which I'm referencing. So yeah, there's that. What's really cool is the back side has a really cool shot of Tom Atkins. Really dig that. You know, the end of the movie with the stop it. Just a great moment. Really cool artwork on that. So yeah, the thing that comes with this as well is the movie and the cards. So the first thing we look at is the cards. And again, I said this in the Halloween 2 version, but I'm not the biggest fans of these cards. But if you are going to give me these cards, having them in a little binder like this, I much prefer. So, and yeah, I've loved this movie so much. I'm so glad that it's become a cult classic. When I was first finding this movie, I used to Google image this, and I remember when I saw this for the first time, I was just in shock. I love this image. Great shot of him with the TV. That's something I haven't seen before. Very, very cool. Little Buddy Kupfer. There's the boss man. So there you go, guys. Nice little art cards, and they look good. So like I said, the fact they put them in these little slips, these little binder cases, whatever you want to call them, that makes a big difference. Because, you know, on the Arrow ones, you get it in this like white little band that you have to rip open. And after that, they just sit in there. So at least they're in this protective little case. That is a nice touch. I always will applaud that. And then, of course, we've got the Blu-ray. And the Blu-ray, like I said, the other version for Halloween 2, it's very much comparable to an Arrow video-style Blu-ray case in terms of, like, I love the thickness and size of these cases. They feel good in the hands. They don't feel so flimsy and breakable. Really like that. So the artwork for this one's cool. You got Tom Atkins with the skeleton mask on when he's tied up in the chair. Very, very cool. Let's take a look at the inside. This is a 1-disc release, not 2. But I really appreciate the fact that even though they're using a scan that already exists and they're using special features from America, they do press their own discs and have really cool art. And this one's under license from Lionsgate, which is interesting. I'm assuming Lionsgate has control of Halloweens 2 and 3 overseas. And they're licensed out from ViaVision. So there's your image on the inside with Tom and Stacy. In terms of the picture quality of this, it looks good. This is probably the exact copy of Scream Factory's Blu-ray release that came out when it came out. For a lot of people, that is perfectly fine. I could go into the rigmarole about, the 4K, the upscaling, the 4K scan Blu-ray on that steelbook that they did, all that stuff. I could get into all that. The reality is, I think for a lot of people, the picture quality of this kind of release is going to be perfectly fine for a lot of people. Now, why did I get excited about this one? Even more so than Halloween 2 with the upscaled Blu-ray for the television version, which, spoiler alert, I'd appreciate if you watched the review I just did, but if not, the upscaled version looked worse than the standard definition version, which actually looks pretty good, really sitting down and watching it. So I didn't look at the website for this when it was announced, but I was told Joe Dante's on the commentary. Now, there may be some people that right away say, well, why do I want to hear Joe Dante on the commentary for Halloween 3? Well, the reason is because Joe Dante was supposed to direct this film. He was handpicked by John Carpenter, and for 2 weeks, Joe Dante was slated to direct Halloween 3. Joe Dante also was the guy that got Nigel Neal involved. He recommended Nigel Neal to those guys to get them to help write this film. So I got this, and I was looking at the back of the case before I put it on. I was like, oh, man, I'm just going to instantly listen to this commentary track with Joe. And then I look at the back. It says, audio commentary by film critic historian Lee Gambin, which I like Lee. I do. I've listened to him before. With a special appearance by filmmaker Joe Dante. So let's go to the menu screen first, look at everything that it offers on here. Then we'll come back and talk about that. Yeah, so this is a one-disc set, but as you can see, we've got a cool shot of the witch that turns into the logo right there. Really vibrant, looks really great. What we have on here is the audio commentary by film critic historian Lee Gambin with a special appearance by Joe Dante. Audio commentary by Tommy Lee Wallace. Audio commentary by actor Tom Atkins. Standalone, which was the documentary that came out on the Scream Factory release. Horror's Hallowed Grounds, revisiting the original shooting locations, which is the best Horror's Hallowed Grounds of all time. I cannot speak. Yeah, that's the best Horror's Hallowed Grounds ever, in my opinion. Still gallery, theatrical trailer, and we've got TV spots. So good. The making of documentary, the standalone, and then the Horror's Hallowed Grounds. But I will comment on the Joe Dante appearance thing in a second. Alright guys, so now that we're done with that, of course, the Horror's Hallowed Grounds is the best ever. This is the best Horror's Hallowed Grounds ever done on Halloween 3, in my opinion, so I love revisiting that on here. Now, let's talk about the audio commentary. I'm not saying... I'm just going to give you the facts. The facts are that Joe is not in this entire commentary. He is in basically a scene and a half's worth of time. Now, I don't remember or know if this was marketed as a Joe Dante commentary. I assume it wasn't, so I'm not going to act like ViaVision lied. I'm not saying they did at all. I just remember a few people hit me up and they're like, hey, you heard Joe Dante's on the commentary track for Halloween 3. So with that being said, he is in a 20-minute portion of it, maybe a little bit less than that, maybe about 15 minutes. But what he does do is Lee, at a certain point in the commentary, and I'll give Lee credit. He's very fluent. His speech is good. He has a lot of cool facts, tidbits, and he even puts his own opinions on things throughout the commentary, and he's very easy to listen to, so I like Lee. He's a film historian, so credit to him. There's a certain point in the movie where he goes, this reminds me of something that's Joe Dante-esque in a portion of the movie, and he goes, I actually did reach out to Joe in terms of his involvement with Halloween 3. Let's bring him in and hear that. So they insert the conversation that Lee had with Joe, where Joe goes over, and I heard some cool stuff that I hadn't heard before. I'll keep that spoiler free. I won't get into that. But Joe chronicles his getting involved with Halloween 3, what he was doing at the time, ultimately what took him away from Halloween 3, and the conversations he had with John Carpenter. So that is new information here, but it's a small portion of the commentary. But the majority of it is, in fact, Lee Gambin. But you do, for lack of worse, you do get some cool Joe Dante tidbit facts from the man himself in that commentary. You could probably call this what I say is a vanity pickup, meaning I got this because I love Halloween 2 and 3. I love collecting these movies, so yeah, I was happy to get this. It was cool to hear Joe in that commentary, and Lee did a good job, but between the two, if you're going to get any of them, I'd actually go with Halloween 3 because, you legitimately get something cool with Joe Dante in here. But they're artwork-wise, they're both great. I mean, I actually think I might like 2 a little bit more, but 3 is great. So it's nice to see ViaVision get a lot of Halloween films and doing their releases. This is going to be something that a lot of hardcore fans that already own multiple copies of this movies are probably going to get. I can't imagine any new Halloween fans are going to pick these up. But if you want to get Halloween from ViaVision, because they do put out just nice releases that may not necessarily have anything new for fans, but they have cool releases, ViaVision's the place to do it, guys. But between the two, I would say this one you are going to get a little something new with Joe Dante in that commentary track. So because the television cut upscaling doesn't really work, I'd tell you to watch the standard definition version because it just looks better, especially if you have a 4K TV and player and you get a little bit of upscaling on that side of it. That looks much better than the upscaled version. But you do legitimately get something cool and new with a little bit of Joe Dante in this. So I guess I'm going to give the Halloween 3 release the edge. But there you have it, guys. Those are the 2 ViaVision releases that have just come out. That is Halloween's 2 and Halloween 3, guys. These are limited, so if you want to get these, I wouldn't wait too long. Check ViaVision's website, and if not, check Orbit and Diabolic and see if they have any in stock left, guys. But thank you for watching this, and I appreciate it. If you have any questions that I may not have answered, drop it down below, and I'll be sure to answer them for you guys. Thank you for watching. Take care. Huge, giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind-the-scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.